Oh, is that my phone? I'm listening to myself on my phone. That sounds weird. That sounds weird as hell. Yeah, no, it's not echo. It was literally my phone playing my voice. Yeah, no, that was my phone, guys. It's okay. Don't like this video. If you're on Rock Phone right now, like this video, share this video. We'll get started here in a second. We got the Drew Saga in the chat. Dark Goblin. Brandon Darren. So I'm just trying to share this to the gram. You know what the kids call it nowadays, the gram. You should follow my Instagram, by the way. My Instagram name is Jimmy Hendrip. Jimmy Hen, H-E-N, drip, D-R-I-P, all one word. Alistar 12, what's going on? All right, y'all ready to get this show on the road? Let's do it. What is going on, everybody? Thank you all so much for tuning into this live stream segment of MCSC, and of course, as always, I'm your humble host, Niko House. We got an exciting show for y'all today. We're gonna talk about Hunter Biden doing Hunter Biden things that it probably got from his daddy, so I'm not all that surprised that it happened. We're also gonna talk about Elizabeth Warren, kind of doing Elizabeth Warren things. She says she has a plan for Bitcoin, people. She doesn't like cryptocurrency. And her stance actually probably changed my stance on the issue, because I actually thought something regarding cryptocurrency was going to be an issue in the future, or that it was currently an issue right now that did need to get resolved. But it turns out Elizabeth Warren agreed with me on this particular issue. So now I think I might have just changed my position, because it's probably not true. So we're going to talk about that too. Also, Dr. Fauci thinks he's God, and a couple of other things. But before we get into any of that, really quick, I heard TYT is going through some things, y'all. What's going on? What's going on with TYT, bro? I need y'all to verify to me if this is true. So I was on Twitter the other day, talking shit, looking for some shit to talk about. And I see these tweets. 351 people watching live. And I thought, that can't be right. Because y'all got 5.2, you see that? They got 5.2 million. There's no way. But it says June 9th. And apparently that was one of their peaks, because on June 8th, they had 274 views right now. Oh, poor Ben Dixon. I stopped watching when Ben Dixon became a regular. Probably should have stopped watching sooner. Oh my God. Oh my. TYT trashed itself. I don't think there's much of a market for MSNBC that says fuck. Oh, shit. Oh. Misfit Black Girl. Shout out to Misfit Black Girl. She be dropping some dope takes. And Matthew Pierce, and I'm not one of them. TYT keeps promoting $15 minimum wage, higher taxes for the rich, Medicare for all, Green New Deal, cancel student loans, and getting money out of politics. Who wants that? Am I right? The sooner they go quiet, the better. Oh wait, I'm for all of that. Man. Jake, is that you, bro? Is that you, Jake? Jake, y'all might talk about all that, but let's be real. When have y'all fought for any of that? Like in any meaningful way? Oh, that's right. You can't fight for any of that, actually, because you took $20 million from one of the Democrats' top donors, then subsequently took even more money from Democrats to kiss the segregationist ass. You know why they got? I saw another tweet said the other day they had to cut the stream because they got like 128 live viewers. Now listen, what's funny about that is the fact that Jank and TYT have benefited enormously from the algorithm preference that they get from being a partner with YouTube. We get hit by the algorithm gatekeeping of YouTube. Our channel isn't monetized anymore, so we're not going to get seen as much as we used to be. Whatever, it is what it is. We'll still get 150, 170 views. Combo Couch is a little bit better, get 250, 300 views on a lot of their videos. But now TYT has 5 million subscribers. And they're getting 128, 200, 250 views. I think Jimmy the other night got like 8,000 people on a casual live stream. Wasn't even nothing crazy. Bro. And you know what? I'm not all that surprised. I'm going to find a tweet from y'all. For y'all. Well, that's just me partying on a boat. Everybody want to see. I know some you want to see me party on a boat. This is how I look like whenever I saw TYT had 128 views, guys. If y'all wondering. This was me. Oh! If y'all didn't know, my nickname was Petty Tendergrass. I'm trying to find this tweet from Jank that made me laugh out loud. Oh, maybe I should get my replies. Because it is literally emblematic of exactly why they suck and they're not getting any views, despite having all of the oh, there you go, guys. You see this? Jank, what happened to FDR 2.0? Question, really quick, everybody in the group chat. Did any of y'all ever believe that Jank was going to be FDR, or that Biden was going to be FDR 2.0? What's worse is, if you did believe it, was it because Bernie told you? Was it because TYT told you? And how did that turn out? Didn't we just get an update yesterday that Jank is refusing to cut? Or not Jank. Damn. See, Jank, I can't even tell the difference between you and Biden anymore. Y'all both racist. Y'all both anti-union. Y'all both anti-work. Y'all both lie through your teeth. Y'all both make promises you never keep. Can't even tell the difference anymore anyway. Biden just announced he's keeping all of Trump's tax cuts to the rich. Look, if I got to deal with the racism, if I got to deal with the warmongering, if I'm gonna still have to deal with the favorability to the corporate and elite class, if I'm gonna have to deal with the bad haircut, if I'm gonna have to deal with the fake white teeth, can I at least get some entertainment through tweets? Can I at least get a president that's gonna roast somebody every day so I got something entertaining to wake up to? Shit, if you don't give me Trump, but worst version, just give me Trump then. At least it's funnier when he does it. Shit. I deal with this non-funny motherfucker eating ice cream and touch a little girl's hair. Don't even want to have a daughter. I'm worried if I take her out somewhere and Biden wants to have a way with her, I ain't gonna be able to do nothing about it because he's the president. Shit, Tara Reid couldn't do anything about it. These little girls out here living in terror being around Biden. But I had a non-funny child molesting Biden. Some bullshit. Now, my response to this was, Jane, shut the fuck up. Matter of fact, let me pull it up for you. So Jane, shut the fuck up. You knew a segregationist wasn't going to be close to whatever you think FDR 2.0 may be. Now, there's a reason I said may think, because FDR is not who people think he was. Now, I said, and you told people to vote for him anyway, because your corporate puppet masters told you to. Live with that shit in your soul every day for the rest of your life. You sold out the world for $1. Oh, see, and this person actually said FDR didn't exactly do shit for black people either, Chief. Exactly. Oh! And they still blasted. This from June 9th, too. What happened to TYT? Hope you save some of that cat's cash, you sellout punk. Shout out to Don. 124 people watching. Apparently, now this is just a rumor, because I wasn't there. I don't watch TYT. It's hard for me to deal with their existence. Yeah. Jake had to cut the stream, apparently. He had to cut the stream. I don't follow TYT. I don't know if that's true, but I do see these screenshots. I do know Drake got an ego. I do know that Jimmy at the same time was getting thousands and thousands of views. I know Convo Couch was streaming the other day because Fiorella is in Peru, or was in Peru, and they were getting more views. I was streaming the other day just talking shit, and we got more views. Oh, I got 5 million subscribers. They got 5 million subscribers, bruh. 5 million subscribers. You kiss ass after ass after ass. Taking Democratic cash after cash after cash. And now your show is ass on ass on ass. Nobody likes you. We told you should have fired Anna. We were like, man, y'all keep Anna on. Y'all Anna out here smearing Jill Stein, smearing Tulsi Gabbard, attacking Assad, saber rattling. Jake, I'm starting to think there's some kind of personal beef between Turkey and Russia that I didn't know about, which, I mean, given the history of the USSR, wouldn't be all that surprising, especially given Jake's age, too, because he would have been really born right in the thick of it. Because Jake went full on discriminatory racist against, well, not racist, but prejudice, discriminatory. It was very uncomfortable to listen to Jake talk about Russiagate. Because, yeah, Anna pushed Russiagate. Yeah, Emma pushed Russiagate. People like Ben Dixon pushed Russiagate. But when Jake did it, it was because the Russian. We saw that Russians gave them some money. We know what them Russians is like. Just named my network the Young Turks. And everybody was like, oh, that's cool. I named it like that because of a song. Yeah, but also you're Turkish. You know what the Young Turks were. And everybody was just cool with that. Could you imagine? Y'all. What if Steve Poikonen from Slow News Day named his show Slow News Day, which has him, Glory, and Allie, 2 young women, and he called it KKK. Just cool color kids. He ain't know no better. He ain't know what the KKK was. He lived in California his whole life. Maybe they don't teach the same history they do over here. Maybe, what if Steve Poikonen from Slow News Day was like, we're going to name our show the KKK, and somebody was like, hey, bro, I don't know what you think the KKK is, but it don't mean cool color kids. And he was like, damn, man, thank you for that information. I'm going to keep the same name, though. I know it might be really offensive to everybody, but even the people on my network. But I'm going to keep it anyway. That's what Jake did. Jake named his show after a group that committed the Armenian genocide. And he's Turkish. And his co-host is Armenian. What we are seeing happening to these people are called comeuppance. They get in these comeuppance. Listen, everybody. I told y'all, people, you can't, I know you do want to hold people accountable. And this is why we hold people accountable. And it takes time for the powerful to suffer the consequences of accountability. However, it takes time. It is not immediate. I know some people kind of get into a very defeatist mindset. And it's hard not to, honestly. I get it. I really do. It's hard not to. I see a lot of people in independent media who are frustrated and irritated because of TYT's existence. TYT smearing their candidates, smearing their favorite commentator, smearing them personally, pushing lies about their country. Influential ones. These are influential lies. Because TYT would tell a lie and you would have to spend 2 or 3 days on Twitter battling over it. While you present facts, where they just present TYT and they bots and try to overrun you with emotion and lies. But now you can't. What I said before the election was over, everybody. I said, they can't hide behind Bernie anymore, because that's over. And what made TYT what they are today? The ability to ride Bernie's wave from 2016. I said they won't be able to hide behind Bernie anymore. When the Democrats get power, one of the reasons they lose power is because all of the people who sold themselves out to get them there, the Democrats stopped paying. They stopped uplifting. They stopped giving interviews to. Because at the end of the day, they're just like the Lincoln Project. Yeah, the Lincoln Project claimed to be Republican, but it's not really Republican versus Democrat, is it? It's elites versus everybody else. So they won't be able to hide behind Bernie. The Democrats don't need them anymore, so why help them? YouTube is Google. Google is YouTube. And maybe one day TYT decides we have to start going back in on the Democrats to get our clout back. Oh, no, sir. Before you can even make that decision, we're going to go ahead and kill that before these primaries come up. So that preferential treatment you thought you were going to get in the algorithm, you're not getting that anymore. So that's out the window. So this is what you got left. They can't smear Tulsi anymore to get clicks. They can't pretend Elizabeth Warren is a progressive anymore to get clicks. That whole let's just do a bunch of videos about Ben Shapiro and Charlie Kirk. Nobody even takes them seriously anymore because they're as much of a joke as you are. So that ain't working anymore. So what do you got left? You got 124 live viewers for a 5 million subscriber channel. Bruh. What we got in the chat, people? What we got in the chat? Redneck Economics. Brian Scott, like father, like son. Yeah, we about to get into that. Maxim. The N-word is not racist when you're talking to your lawyer because of attorney-client privilege. Monarch. TYT is going to migrate to Majority Report. Are they not already there? They kind of been that, right? Isn't it kind of crazy how I feel like it was because remember Sam City got fired and immediately went to TYT, but then he got picked back up by MSNBC. Now Sam ended up leaving TYT quietly behind closed doors, and then Emma left TYT despite the fact that Emma really ain't not good at a damn thing when it comes to political analysis. She was literally riding the wave of TYT and being Anna Kasparian's little butt buddy. And even Emma left. All the people that y'all screwed the country with, screwed progressives with, they all abandoned you. Like you abandoned us. Whew! That's some irony for your ass. Great Goblin, Jank's feelings are hurt. Redneck Economics said, live your best life. Boy, I am trying. I really am. I really, really am. Anthony, what's going on? What's going on? Astro Doe. Anna Kasparian needs to apologize for denying Armenian. No, Anna didn't deny the Armenian genocide. She just didn't care about the fact that Cenk was an Armenian genocide denier, which is crazy because, so I've had this theory for a while. And I'm trying to keep this brief, but this is kind of like something that's been irking me for a while. Now I want to preface this by saying I have no idea if this is true. Okay. So don't run around like Niko said, or Niko said this is true. I'm saying this is my theory. So Cenk being Turkish around his age would mean that he would be kind of one of the people. Once again, he named his show the Young Turks. So it shows you what side of Turkey that he would fall into politically, especially considering he used to be a Republican, right? Cenk supposedly left MSNBC because they were trying to influence him politically and he wouldn't stand for it. I don't buy that. Because I know he claims to be independent, right? He claims that. No, he started TYT through venture capitalist funding. Now, last time I checked, when you leave the mainstream media, especially at that time, in order to compete with the mainstream media, because they supposedly wanted to shut you down from telling the truth and be unapologetically progressive. Pause real quick. When does that ever happen? Especially if you're a leftist, if you leave mainstream media, if you not go into RT, you're getting shut down. Last time I checked. But no, he starts a show called The Young Turks through venture capitalist funding. Gets deals with YouTube to become a network. Blow up just in time for Bernie. And who does everybody then have to go to if, one, you want to hear the most recent news from somebody who has access that a lot of us didn't have at the time? You got to go to TYT. So now if you want to work in that particular space, maybe you are an honest person. Maybe you do have good intentions. But the best place at that time, for 5-6 years ago, would have been, if you wanted to have the most reach, would be to work at TYT, because they had already been established and everybody thought that they'd been established because of people-powered funding, but instead it was actually venture capitalist funding. So, but now you are in a position where you are kind of stuck going there, which didn't seem like a bad option at the time, until you realize how many people probably sold their souls to stay or work at TYT, until you realize that black men were being treated like trash there, and Cenk was basically defending it. At the very least, he was apathetic about it when he was confronted. So you get Cenk, Anna, TYT to back Bernie, and then the largest progressive network, after we had all kind of coalesced around at least the bare minimum, the message, after many people had coalesced later around challenging election fraud that had happened to Bernie, especially given what WikiLeaks told us. And don't get that. We don't get it that way. I hope everybody at this point has accepted that it happened. I would imagine. I mean, Elizabeth Warren told you it happened. Tom Perez admitted it happened. Debbie Wasserman Schultz was fired because it happened. Donna Brazile admitted it happened. So if you still are in that camp of we don't know, you need this is the wrong show for you. You a little behind, and I don't got enough time to catch you up. But he was cheated, verifiably so. And they take all of those millions, and instead of saying let's get out there and fight like we said we should, like we said we would, they say vote for Hillary Clinton instead, which immediately splintered the movement. They put themselves on one side of the table. They put Jimmy Dore on another side of the table, effectively. Well, also sometimes literally. Then they took $20 million in Katzenberg money and DNC funding as a reward. Think about it. I think that there is a good possibility that TYT was always a psyop. I think there's a good possibility that Cenk was always an asset. Cenk is not that smart of a person. Right? Think we all agree? It's the ones who ain't that smart that are the most easily manipulated. It ain't like anybody was listening to Cenk for his analysis. It's just funny, I guess, for some people sometimes. He was over the top, he was extra. And to be fair, they were the only ones with that type of platform at the time that was actually giving Bernie any coverage. But I tend to lean towards the belief, especially given how many psyops we see come out now. I genuinely believe there's a good possibility that Cenk was always a psyop. That TYT was always a psyop. Because remember when Cenk got, his words about the Armenian genocide started coming out. What do we see happen? You coincidentally found the one Armenian that everybody could, point to that was leaving ABC News, wherever Anna used to work at. And then Anna ends up as the co-host. And is perfectly fine with the fact that Cenk has denied the Armenian genocide. Not only that part, which she may have found out later. What about the whole, the network is called TYT? You get what I'm saying, people? Somebody pay her to be okay with it. And she was rewarded with an adjunct professor job at what? USC. And all of a sudden, Anna Kasparian ends up in Forbes 30 under 30. She was rewarded handsomely for selling out her people for a couple of dollars. I'm just saying the likelihood is probably more likely than not that Anna, Cenk, and TYT have literally always been a psyop. They've always been assets. Yeah, they anti-war until Assad. Yeah, they're anti-war until Russia. Yeah, they're anti-war until Maduro. Yeah, they're anti-war until Libya and Gaddafi. They're anti-war until China. Like, how are they really anti-war? They've never really been. Think about it. Just putting it out there. It's a possibility. All right. Let's get to the fun stuff. Oh, yeah. The UTA and CAA stuff, too, man. The news, y'all know the news that Robbie broke about UTA and CAA. how Jake and Anna were smearing Tulsi in the same vein as Anderson Cooper and all of them, and Joanne Reed, Rachel Maddow for sure. And it turned out they're all on the same. They're all on the same talent agency. Sorry, I said it. Yo. Oh man, Jason just ruined my thought process. So I was just DMing Jason Berman's back. But oh man, what was I about to tell y'all? It was actually something that it'll come back to me. Oh man, for all my sports fans out there who watch Undisputed, really quick. Funny story happened. So they were joking the other day. Michael Rappaport was on there and was saying like, why is LeBron able to get he got like 6 clutch sports guys on the Lakers, which is, you know, LeBron's talent or sports agency or whatever. Well, it's not his, but it's his. And Shannon Sharp said something by accident that I don't think he knew he didn't know what he was saying, but he kind of snitched. He was like, oh, that's correct, because he's trying to defend LeBron, which if you watch, you know what that is. So he goes on there and says, well, how many, if you go to any movie set in Hollywood, how many of those actors are all on CAA? He said, you have whole sets, just CAA. So Michael Rappaport was like, and just moved on. Like he didn't want to. Matter of fact, y'all want to figure out right now if Michael Rappaport is CAA? Let's figure that out. We can figure it out together. Oh, that's crazy. CAA speakers. Michael Rappaport. And y'all wonder why he was so weird about Trump. Like, obsessive about that man. If you follow him on Instagram, like I used to follow him because he was funny. And like, actually, I like the videos with him and his son. And he's a Knicks fan, so like I would follow him. And I'm like, bro, why he always talking about Trump? Like, to the point where it's uncomfortable. And then, like, would turn around when Biden would say, we got to defend the cops, we got to protect cops. And then Michael Rappaport would step up there and start defending cops. And look, and you could tell Shannon didn't really realize, what he was saying. Shannon Sharp did it. Because he was just trying to defend LeBron, but he was making a statement of fact. And then what Michael Rappaport came out and said was, oh, well, you know, Hollywood solved that because you're not allowed to bundle actors anymore. Ooh. People, now look, the elite accidentally snitching on each other. They accidentally snitching on each other. It's hilarious. All right, we're about to talk about this Hunter Biden stuff, y'all. I'm sorry, I keep getting distracted. But I just had to bring that up because I know a lot of people in the chat remember that CAA UTA story. That was groundbreaking, man, which is kind of the norm for Robbie, so I'm not all that surprised. We got 16 people watching on Rockfin. Shout out to my Rockfin peeps. Matter of fact, let me go ahead. Make sure y'all go follow us on Rockfin. We got a great show tonight. Got our Rockfin Premium show. For Rockfin Premium, all you have to do is endorse us or somebody on Rockfin. Anybody on Rockfin, $9.99 a month. And oh man, so we just got confirmation. Jason Berman is going to be on our Rockfin Premium show tonight. Man has done fantastic COVID work. Oh my God. He's up there with Whitney Webb and, TLAV, Last American Vagabond for COVID conversations. They'll go in deep. So it's always a pleasure to have him on. And it's very, I'm sure it's been very validating for him to see how everything that he has been saying, and backing up with verifiable fact, by the way, is now becoming mainstream because, of course, once officials from administration start talking, you're in a different category, right? We're in a different ball game because you gonna discredit that official, multiple officials that are also Democrat in some instances. Like, nope, they're not gonna do it. So, all right, Hunter Biden people. Oh God. I don't know what to laugh about this, cry about it. Hunter Biden addressed his white lawyer as the N-word multiple times, used phrases like true that, N-word, and bantered. Usually I don't really care if I'm gonna say it, but I'm gonna have to post this clip up later and I don't want to get taken down. So but in banter, I only love you because you're black, and shocking unearthed text. On shocking text unearthed days after Joe's emotional Tulsa speech decrying racism. Y'all want to just go straight to the text messages and read them. The text messages recovered from Hunter Biden's abandoned laptop show that President's son pictured last month used the N-word multiple times in casual conversation with his lawyer, George Masiris, who is white, by the way. There's zero coverage or pickup of the story. That's probably Ukraine Gate, by the way. Zip. They spent a shit ton of resources on it, too, for a year. Wow, thank you, Michael Cohen. Oh, and you too. How much money do I owe you? Because N-word, you better not be charging me Hennessy rates. That made me snarf my coffee. If you wanted to know how you knew that the lawyer was indeed white. I just made that phrase up, by the way. I should have nagged your lineage. You know what that means? So you clever son of a gun. It's wasted on you. Apparently you do. And then apparently it gets really weird. Why are you so tan? He said, I'm sorry for sexting you accidentally. That was meant for another friend named Georgia. It's creepy. Where do you find unconditional love then, George? God loves unconditionally. Bo loves you unconditionally. Children are too young to understand what it means. That is actually not, that's weird to think that. If anything, children can love unconditionally because they haven't been tainted and jaded by this corrupt world. Anyway, he says, oh my God, N-word, Hunter Biden's response. Did you just use, I'm assuming, a fictional character from the imagination of collective frightened and my dead brother's unconditional love is what I should rely on, and my kids aren't children, George? He says my parents' love was conditioned. My penis, as of late, has been unconditional. What is wrong with this dude? Hey, man. Pretty sure this is one of his little crack binges. It's gotta be. It's gotta be. Now, I don't even know where to start. Where do we start on this shit? I don't know. Like, just the banter itself is weird and problematic and shows he has issues. But the fact that Hunter thinks that it's funny to call his white lawyer that, the fact that he thinks it's funny for him to say that, the fact that, like, I need you to understand when he says, because N-word, you better not be charging me Hennessy rates. That is actually a racist trope. Because, which, by the way, Hunter snitching. I'm going to tell you why. I don't drink Hennessy, but my brothers do. And my sisters do. And every other black person on the planet, probably. But, or do say. However, a few years back, Hennessy all of a sudden took the reins as the new king of cognac. Okay? It had become well known. black people preferred Hennessy. At the bar, at the dinner table, in the shower, after a blunt, before a blunt. Maybe not while drinking and driving, but maybe driving before drinking. Look, black people just love Hennessy. Your birthday, Jesus' birthday, Allah birthday, Pookie birthday, Shay Shay birthday. They like drinking Hennessy and everybody knows it. Okay, they rap about it, we sing about it. It's a thing. We would go to bars because my brother drinks it straight, and all of a sudden, the rates for Hennessy were like twice as much of like a Jack Daniels, for example. Whereas it used to be the other way around. It was twice as much as Crown. Like all of a sudden Crown became regular, and then you got like your top shelf, and then Hennessy became top shelf. But the price at that, especially at that time, wasn't all that different. And in where they weren't raising the price on Hennessy, they were making sure there was no Hennessy there so that black people would not come to their club or their bar. What Hunter is accidentally telling you all is that there is a universal understanding that they are charging more for Hennessy because black people, they know, will pay for it, especially if they're not tracking. If they're in the club, they're probably not even tracking it. Like, I guess I want my Hennessy. A lot of people like that. When they want what they want, you know, white men like that too. They pull up to the car dealership and they take what they want. Like, I don't care if you charge me more for it, I'll pay for it. So they specifically, though, are charging more for Hennessy for black people, and it's universally understood amongst powerful white people. So Jimmy James said Pookie only 13. Oh my God. No. Jose and Juan only 13. Be out there at the quinceañeras drinking Corona and taking shots of Swaza. Don't be out here trying to put Pookie in. If Pookie taking Hennessy shots at 13, you would never know. If Jose and Juan taking tequila shots at 13, they posted on, they parents posted it on Instagram. Yes, rum is better than Hennessy. Dark rum though. That white, I can't do the white. Not anymore. 10 shots after the club in college, ruined white rum for me and my friends. Anyway, the other problem with this is that there's a clear power dynamic issue. If George, this Hunter Biden's lawyer, was uncomfortable with this, not only uncomfortable with him saying the word and being racist, not only uncomfortable with him calling him that, but just uncomfortable with the very idea of Hunter Biden being racist and doing this all the time, and then implicating himself, you know, George, in the text messages because you're being racist and I can't say anything about it. If the lawyer wanted to say something, if George wanted to say something, could he? Could he oust Hunter Biden for saying this stuff without repercussions? Hunter Biden, the man who was able to do crack and get a job at Burisma in Ukraine because his dad gave it to him. Hunter Biden, who was able to do deals with China on behalf of his father while his father was VP, where his business partner snitched on him and the story was totally buried, while they simultaneously said that it was actually Trump who was doing the business with China, the foul business with China. When the same Hunter Biden who, when he was caught taking all that money by Burisma or from Burisma, because of the job his little daddy got him while he was VP. When he was caught, to deflect, they literally ran a whole impeachment trial to say that Trump did it instead, when there was videos of Biden threatening the Ukraine, saying that if he didn't, bragging about it, if they didn't stop investigating his son in Burisma and fire that prosecutor, he was going to pull their funding. So do you think this lawyer that no one knows could say something even if he wanted to? And then there should be the most obvious thing, right? The most obvious thing is, why is Hunter Biden so okay with being racist? Because he get it from his daddy. He's stunting like his daddy. That's all, people. You ain't black if you don't vote for me, and you better not be charging me Hennessy rates, or I'm pulling up with the blickers. 40s on 40s on 40s. That's where he get it from. He thinks it's cool to be racist while like speaking like what he perceives all black people speak like. It's weird. It's fetishy. Like, it's like, how do you fetishize being black while simultaneously being racist while talking to a white person who probably doesn't even understand what the hell you're talking about at the time? That's weird. It's like a different level of weird, but what's crazy is Hunter ain't the only one. Like I said, like when Biden was talking to Charlemagne the fraud, I know why, by the way, Charlemagne and Biden probably get along so well. After Kwame Brown came out and talked about how Charlemagne got caught sexually assaulting a young teenager, and then the mom came out and confirmed it later. Now I kind of get why Joe and Charlemagne got along so well, but that's neither here nor there. But when Charlemagne the fraud was talking to Joe Biden was like, "You ain't black if you don't vote for me," and then Charlemagne was like, "What? That's crazy," and then didn't do anything, because he always at the donkey of the day, and all of a sudden the donkey of the day won a thing when Joe Biden said so. But Joe Biden was like, "You ain't black," and he thought it was cool. But he had to know it was racist. But also, why did you say it like that? Because you thought it was cool to say something racist in a way that you would think black people would say it. That is bizarre. Oh, we have 127 viewers on YouTube live right now. We officially have more than TYT had the other day on their live. Man, we must have 5 million subscribers to get that many views. Sorry, I can't. The pettiness is very hard for me to get rid of it. Nah, I ain't never gonna stop being petty. 18 on Rockfin right now. Shout out to my Rockfin people. But do y'all see, like, we nominated a segregationist who then was elected. No, excuse me. We didn't nominate shit. They nominated a segregationist. My apologies. Then elected a segregationist to defeat the person that they feel is racist. The same person who got his clearly racist son a job on the largest energy company in the Ukraine after getting kicked out the Navy for smoking crack. Not cocaine, he did some coke too, but he was out there hitting the pipe. So when people talk about systemic racism, this is what they mean. It isn't just about how people are. Let's talk about that, right? Crack was given higher sentences than cocaine was. White people smoke crack, you wouldn't even know it, and it was happening, by the way. But crack was more affordable, so more black people were smoking crack in the communities, while white people were doing cocaine because that was considered a rich white man's drug. And you see how that turned out. The policing and how people were treated. Listen, if you are a minority who's been in the military, you know how it gets down for us. Oh my God. They looking for a reason to kick us out. They're looking for a reason to court martial us. They're looking for a reason to give us Article 15. This man got out after smoking crack, bro. You know how many Article 15, you know how many careers I've had to like end while I was a paralegal over somebody doing cocaine one time? Once. That's all it took. Field grade Article 15. Give me all your money. Give me your ring. Get the fuck out. Dishonorable discharge. Felony. So now you're screwed. Because what happens is you get the dishonorable discharge. So you can't work in any military facility anymore. But then it's like a felony. So you can't even get a job anymore. And if you got caught in the civilian world doing it, like if that's how it happened, you got a felony in the civilian world, a felony, a dishonorable discharge, no GI Bill, and no job. You're at your mama's house for the rest of your life. Shout out to all those people who can stay with their moms. That would be nice. I would prefer that. So much easier. But you're done. Hunter Biden, and now there was, once again, how that was handled. It was, I got into a lot of fights, people, with my first sergeant and my command, because one person's case would be handled one way and the other person's case would be prolonged. Oh, they got, sorry, we're going to go ahead and just drop the Article 15 because they're getting med boarded all of a sudden. The fuck we ain't. Watch this. Here, sir, already finished his Article 15 package for Mr. Bradley. Won't go down like that. But in all seriousness, Hunter Biden gets a job. Once again, people get dishonorable discharges, felons, and on felons. Like, because you're getting the military felon with UCMJ, you're getting a civilian felony. You get felonies on felonies. No job, nothing. Hunter Biden becomes damn near the richest person in the Biden family. It's not about just how you are disproportionately affected by the system. We're talking about systemic racism. It's about who can do the exact same thing as you, but because they're white and powerful, usually got a male too. Your dad could become president of the United States one day. And you wonder why people were incentivized to be racist. They're literally being incentivized to be shitty. Biden got rewarded for being a segregationist. I ain't never seen anything like this. What's up, Brooks? I see Brooks in the chat. I thought I saw Glory earlier, too. Shout out to Glory. But we're literally seeing people incentivized to be racist. But what exactly was this lawyer going to say? What was he going to say? Could he have called out Hunter Biden and had anything done about this? Yeah, he would have had something done about it. He would have been fired. All of a sudden, a bunch of criminal charges would have been filed on him. All of a sudden, a bunch of corruption. What's up, Glory? Oh, Allie in the building too. Hot damn, Bojangles. The whole MCSC in this thing. All right. That shit crazy, man. He wouldn't be able to do anything about it. So he got to go be weird. Listen to this weird shit because you niggas. Oops, my bad. Not this stream. Next stream, though. I got you. But because you N-words, I'll be charging Hennessy ring. It was, you know what's messed up about that, though? I ain't gonna lie, y'all. If my brother said that shit to me in the group chat, I would be motherfucking crying. I ain't gonna lie. If anybody but Hunter Biden said that shit. Like, hey, if we got a BuzzFeed post that Van Jones said that shit to somebody on CNN when he was texting him, it would be funny. But Hunter Biden saying that shit is unacceptable. Okay? It's racist. It's unacceptable. Oh, Franco in the building. Franco, it's so nice of you to take time out of your busy schedule to join us. You know, Frank be busy, man. He ain't got no time for us little folks no more. He be streaming all the time. Calling everybody out. All right. Next story, mates. I want to talk about this Elizabeth Warren thing. A little bothersome. Y'all want to look at this video real quick for me? I know y'all can't hear. Give me a second. I'm not going to play all of it, but I want y'all to.
It's about, we've talked
views.
a lot today about the dangers that cryptocurrencies pose to our economy. We've talked about the ripoffs, the instability, the extent to which they're used to help criminals with cyber attacks, like the attack on Colonial Pipeline and JBS. But there's another piece too.
Oh, hold up.
About the ripoffs, the instability, it's about, we've talked a lot today about the dangers that cryptocurrencies pose to our economy. We've talked about the ripoffs, the instability, the extent to which they're used to help criminals with cyber.
So let's go ahead and address that real quick. She was very clear about what it's really about, because she said it first. We've seen how Bitcoin is hurting our economy and causing instability. Instability for who? I'm perfectly fine. I don't know what you talking about. All my friends who invested in Bitcoin early are perfectly fine. I don't know what kind of that's how they survived the pandemic. They went ahead and rented RVs and they traveled around the country. It's for them. And we gonna address that. And also the fact that she tried to say it's being used for drug dealers, it's being used for it's being used for black market stuff. What is the US dollar being used for? Guess we gotta get rid of it. And that's what she's saying, right? Now, make no mistake about it. This information or this news is coming out from Elizabeth Warren after El Salvador, I want to say, just adopted Bitcoin as one of their main currencies. So keep that in mind.
Or attacks like the attack on Colonial Pipeline and JBS. But there's another piece too, the adverse environmental impacts of the computing activity used to mint many of these digital currencies in the first place. Bitcoin consumes more energy than entire countries, and it is projected to consume as much energy as all the data centers in the whole world this year. One Bitcoin transaction, a single purchase, sale, or transfer, uses the same amount of electricity as the typical US household uses in more than a month. So, yeah.
And this is what she tweeted. Bitcoin requires so much energy, Bitcoin requires so much computing activity that it eats up more energy than entire countries. One of the easiest and least disruptive things we can do to fight the climate crisis is to crack down on environmentally wasteful cryptocurrencies. So, ladies and gentlemen, few things that we're going to say about this. I think right now would be a good time for some of y'all to start investing in Bitcoin. Because if Elizabeth Warren is attacking this, y'all know it's a problem. And they don't know what to do about it. 2, I actually was under the same impression for a long time that Bitcoin did use an abundance of energy to create. Like, that's one of the reasons that it pays out so much to mint Bitcoin, like to use your computer to actually create Bitcoins. The system uses an incredible amount of power. Now, in my opinion, it was a super simple solution. Maybe we should change the way that we fundamentally power people's households, like we have been saying about the climate crisis and the environmental crisis. Also, why is she saying that the way to fight the climate crisis is to crack down on the environmentally wasteful cryptocurrency? I know that sometimes the climate and the environment are intertwined. Using electricity isn't necessarily contributing to the climate crisis. She didn't actually say how what is it environmentally wasteful? We throwing these cryptocurrencies that are literally all digital on the ground when we're done with them or something, like, oh man, like a penny, I don't need this Bitcoin anymore, let me print out a piece of paper with a picture of a Bitcoin and throw it on the ground. Like, what are you talking about? And if it did use the energy, which by the way otherwise would be sitting there, that's what we've learned, it would just be chilling. If it did use that energy, what is the difference between it not? What would happen if that energy was not used? If that electricity at that moment was not used? The way that these power companies work isn't that they allot a certain amount of energy. They keep these generators going all day, all night, all day, all night. And they're not saying, whoa, 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 there's one guy using a lot of electricity here. Let's turn the electricity down this person. It's gonna do exponential damage to this generator that we have running 24/7 anyway, and that is not being affected in any negative way. No, they're gonna charge that motherfucker more money for using that much power. If you want to deal with that on a real in a real way, because it isn't just like the cryptocurrency is called like as a problem for the environment. It's not just cryptocurrency. It wouldn't be, even if it was. I'm sure my computer uses way too much power. I'm sure my lights use way too much power. I'm sure my apartment building uses way too much power in its current form. And that what is required to power all these facilities causes extensive environmental damage. So what we need to do is fundamentally change the way we power up everything. But woo, we know how Elizabeth Warren feels about fundamental change. We know that. So I did used to think at one point that this could be a significant obstacle for us popularizing Bitcoin on the left. Then Elizabeth Warren opened her mouth. Now I'm like, I should go buy more Bitcoin. Because if Elizabeth Warren is coming out swinging to attack Bitcoin, it's probably the right thing to buy. Not just Bitcoin, but all cryptocurrencies. Ray token, Ethereum, Ray token, Bitcoin too. I know that's just the one that most people are familiar with and the easiest to get for a lot of people. And I want to make sure real quick. I want to figure out the date. Because there was an announcement in Salvador. Yeah. Bitcoin jump. Oh, yeah. So as of 3:30 a.m. Eastern Standard on Thursday, cryptocurrency was trading at 36,849 per coin, jumped up 7.9%. It jumped up 7.9% in 24 hours. And it says Salvadorian lawmakers made history on Wednesday by a proposal from President Nayib Bukele, or Bukele. I don't know if that's a interesting name. That would allow Bitcoin to be used as a form of legal tender in the country alongside the US dollar. Oof. The law states that all economic agents shall accept Bitcoin as a form of payment when it is offered by the purchaser of a good or service. It also says that tax payments can now be made in Bitcoin. Ooh. Oh. Uh-oh. There's a reason that they won't. They allow you to pay capital gains tax for your Bitcoin gains, but they won't create a tax code forcing you to do so, because that would further, in the US, because that would further legitimize Bitcoin and cause it to skyrocket. Because all of a sudden it now means this decentralized currency is legitimate. And they don't want that. Salvador doing this Wednesday, right? And this came out 4:31 p.m. June 9th, yesterday. Y'all think this is a coincidence, bro? Y'all think this is a coincidence? Now, I've also said for quite some time that I think that the way that the pandemic was handled, let's be honest, right? They tried to intentionally crash the economy. They tried to destroy the middle class. They tried to get vaccine passports out before they even knew if a vaccine would be widely accepted. They were denying us funds while simultaneously giving grants to corporations, while giving loans and only loans to small businesses who didn't even have the credit to qualify for the loan anymore, at least in the first round of PPP funding. And then by the time the second round of PPP funding came around, it didn't matter because those small businesses were destroyed. I said that something was happening that was causing them to rush plans. Now, if you're familiar with the Great Reset in the World Economic Forum, then you have probably been familiarized with the term stakeholder capitalism, which is basically the elite want us to be perfectly fine while that they own everything and we can rent everything. But it makes you feel important and okay with just renting things. And the biggest obstacle standing in the way of achieving this goal, of course, wouldn't be poor people. We don't own shit. The middle class, but most specifically, the upper middle class. So right before you get into that top 10%, the people trying to get there. People who invested their entire lives, have 401k, buy property, have rental property, want to start their own small business, buy land. The elite need to buy that up. So stakeholder capitalism is just, you got a stake in what we own. And by stake, I mean you literally just put a stake in the ground and rent it from us and get nothing for it. Now, this would probably be easier to do over a longer period of time because you don't want to rush things and slip up and have a bunch of shit come out like what we've been seeing, right? Slow News Day has done fantastic coverage of it. Winnie Webb has done fantastic coverage of it. Frank Analysis, they've done fantastic coverage of it. Obviously, Jason Burmis, Ryan Christian from Last American Vagabond. People have been talking about this for a while. And been talking about how they've literally just been tripping over themselves, snitching on themselves. No, I was talking on the live stream, maybe 2020 even, beginning of 2021, saying that I found it bizarre that they would rush this in a way where you get a sense that, and I even said this the other day, right? I said there's a sense of desperation that it's palpable. You can feel it amongst the elite, whether it be with the Fauci emails that they were, the FOIA requests for the Fauci emails where they got leaked. Not leaked, but I'll call it leaked because, like, let's be honest, right? We know how the government works. We know how the elites work. If they don't want something to be seen, it won't be seen. So even though it was requested by BuzzFeed, I say it was leaked because it was initially requested by somebody else who was denied. Then BuzzFeed requested it, and then they were released. However, you saw there were a lot of redactions. Okay. So there are controlled releases being put out there. All of a sudden, now even the G7 leaders are calling for an investigation into the real origins of COVID. Oh, it's like a bunch of conspiracy theorists. The real origins of COVID. Whoa. Except for they got that order from the Biden administration, who now has to play the game too. So there were some missteps once again made because a lot of this stuff was rushed. And they were desperate, and desperate people make mistakes. And I had said, y'all, I know this is going to sound crazy, but do y'all think that cryptocurrency is causing this issue? Because we know everything revolves around the central bank. Everything. And not just ours. Everything revolves around the Fed. As long as you have control over the Fed, it's always been understood that you have control over the world. But the only way that can happen is if two things happen. Everybody in the world, the most powerful people and the most powerful businesses in the most powerful countries, all buy into this idea that the US dollar is sovereign, that it is a fiat currency, and of course, that it is backed and that dollar is still being backed by oil and the ability to control the distribution of said oil. But all that shit kind of goes out the window if grandma down the street just pulled out her 401k and became a millionaire because she invested in Bitcoin at the beginning of 2020, whenever Bitcoin took the dive at the beginning of the pandemic. Then when Bitcoin took the dive and everybody was smart and they realized, okay, this would be the time to invest, they took their checks. You don't think that had anything to do with why they were holding up those checks? Because a lot of they gave them to you anyway. You know, with caveats. Less than it originally was supposed to be given, later than, got it. But I don't know if y'all remember, Bitcoin made their first initial recovery, their big jump, because people took them $1,400 checks and bought Bitcoin with it. Then people took their $1,200 checks and bought Bitcoin with it. And they was taking their unemployment checks and buying Bitcoin with it. And then next thing you know, people had $300,000, $400,000 in their bank account that they had never even seen before in their lives. And guess who don't know where that money is at? The government. Government don't know. The Fed doesn't know. The IRS doesn't know. And y'all know me, I'm actually firmly against federal income tax because you're just taking people's money to fund the corporatocracy, to subsidize people like Elon Musk, subsidize people like this owner in Charlotte who's trying to get the taxpayers of North Carolina to pay for his Panther Stadium, subsidize Israel, subsidize weapons manufacturing companies. So I'm not going to use my money. I'm not okay with using my money and poor people's money to pay for they get all the benefits and we don't get any of the shit. Y'all paying for Elizabeth Warren health care. Isn't that crazy, bro? But y'all got to fight and claw for your $1,200? But with Bitcoin and with cryptocurrency, well, they don't really know where your money is, do they? You can send your money to your friend who also has a decentralized numerical, alphanumerical address and be like, what y'all talking about? I ain't got no money. And your friend can send half of that to another random friend. And whenever they stop looking, all of a sudden, your Bitcoin's back in your new address that you just created because you can create an address whenever you want to. All of a sudden, you out here living next to Warren Buffett. And he like, how much you pay? Because you gotta ask, hey, Warren, what's up, neighbor on my, because Warren Buffett bought like half a damn Iowa or some shit like that. That man got acres on acres on acres. What's up, my neighbor? What's going on? How you doing? How you doing, Chuck? Oh, I'm doing fine, Warren. Man, how much you pay tax this year? Oh, you know me, bro. Not a damn thing. Am I right? Yeah. But I know how much you pay. None. Really? What you invest in? Don't worry about that, Warren. Why are you asking questions? I ain't ask you what you investing in. Asking all these questions. All right, Warren. See you later, buddy. You and Warren Buffett paying the exact same amount of taxes, boy. What? Except for if Warren don't get his accountant to do that shit right, it's a problem. Yo, I know people who got cryptocurrency account. Accountant be asking them, hey, so like, what do you plan on doing with your money from the crypto? Oh, don't be asking me those questions. Why you asking me? You act like you my accountant or something. Chill, bro. Don't worry about that. I told you worry about the money in my bank account, not my not my crypto account. Don't worry about it. It's called crypto. Cryptic. You want to know how to solve a lot of these problems. Liberation can only come from decentralization. Decolonization can only come from centralization. Black liberation can only come through decentralization. The number one way they use to influence everything in this world is through the Fed and through the national budget. Once again, the national budget was created 3 months after Black Wall Street was destroyed. I know you didn't get that as part of y'all history lesson. When the Tulsa, you know, now they're going to try to use Tulsa to manipulate black people and the thing they care about what actually happened there. They want to memorialize Tulsa. They don't want to investigate Tulsa. But I'm going to tell you, 3 months after Tulsa was destroyed, the national budget was established that said all of a sudden all private banks had to report public spending. Black banks was not going to do that. And the biggest black bank, which, by the way, nobody knows their name because the deed doesn't exist anymore, no record of it, was in Tulsa, Oklahoma, in Black Wall Street. A few months before that, the first Fed was put in Oklahoma. Oklahoma's first Fed, I mean. But that's when they initially started putting them all around the world, because you can't establish a national budget to track all that type of stuff without a Fed being there locally to report it to, especially at that point. I want to say that was 1920, late 1920, early 1921. Subsequent, like I said, after that, Fed was put there months after Tulsa was destroyed. Months after that, the national budget was created. And as you all know, that was also around the same time that what happened? Roaring 20s, stock market booming. The Fed, if the bank for Black Wall Street was not destroyed and carpet bombed by the National Guard, yeah, because they helped out with that little quote unquote race riot, which I don't believe actually started because of a race. It's everything is easier to just blow off as racial tensions. It was racial tensions that caused the National Guard to come and carpet bomb a black city over somebody supposedly touching somebody in the elevator. Come on, bro. No, that wasn't it. Yes, there were racial tensions. And what was new? That was new. That was not new. What was new was the Fed. What was new was the national budget. And Black Wall Street and every other bank that probably would have come out of them and from them, because black people would have been able to keep up monetarily. Because at that time, I think every dollar, like right now, I think a dollar goes back into black dollars go into like a white person's hand at like a ridiculous rate. Back then, the dollar was circulated like 90 or 8 or 9, like out of 10, like 8 or 9 times out of 10 before it ever even got to a white person's hand. It had to, usually at that point for them, it had to leave the state. Roaring 20s happens. If the bank in Tulsa was able to experience the profit of the Roaring 20s, if Black Wall Street was able to. And by the way, black banks didn't crash when the crash happened. I don't know if y'all know that. Yeah, none of them crashed. Literally none of them. FDR forced them to close and then imposed a bunch of policies through the Green New Deal to stop them. So it allowed JP Morgan and them, Wells Fargo, and I mean, they weren't called that back then. They were called something else. But all the big banks, they were able to pass the black banks again after crashing. Well, the black banks were been suppressed because they were a threat. And Black Wall Street, if never destroyed, would have been able to keep up with the Fed. Challenge the Fed when it came to interest rates. Maybe even fund some black liberation movements overseas. Oof. That would be interesting, huh? Why when we balance our budget, it look like this, but when y'all balance y'all budget, y'all look like this, but y'all spending way more money. We know that. You can't gentrify their communities. You can't introduce redlining. You can't do the urban credit score. Everything is controlled through the Fed to the point where it's likely they were destroying any competition along the way, even in situations where you never even thought they were, just to make sure that the Fed went unchallenged. And cryptocurrency literally accidentally created out of nowhere, because the Satoshi, which is or blockchain, excuse me, which is created by Satoshi, the technology it wasn't for quote unquote currency at first. And the Satoshi is a piece of a Bitcoin. Basically, if any of y'all buying Bitcoin, you're buying a Satoshi, which is a piece of, and if you are buying whole Bitcoins, I need you to talk to me, because the show and the network needs some sponsors. And I think we can work something out. But in all seriousnness, this currency it came out of nowhere and no one took it seriously. And then you started seeing people in the, you start seeing banks, Wall Street Journal, stock coming out. That's not serious stuff, man. Don't invest in that. And people out here cashing big boy checks off. Okay, y'all keep saying that. It's not serious. Don't take it serious. But when they start saying that, it's usually because they're trying to make moves behind the scene so they can see if they can make money off of it. But they won't allow it to be traded in New York, though. I don't know if y'all know that. Because if Wall Street gets involved, well, wouldn't that be direct competition for all those people who Wall Street keeps in business? If I'm a broker, I know the money I make, the percentage I make is based off of the gains that my client makes. Why would I tell you to buy Apple stock? Why would I tell you to buy Microsoft stock whenever Bitcoin just made a 7% jump in a day? And climbing. And it does that often. Why would I tell you to do that? Why would I tell you to go to Apple? Why would I tell you to go to Microsoft when that stuff is 2%, 3% gains? Like, oh. They're terrified of decentralization. The decentralization of currency. I don't know if y'all know this, but blockchain is also being applied and utilized for voting machines now. So you decentralize the electoral process, decentralized banking, decentralized market. In a market where you can't try and use the institutions to force us to pay for your evil deeds while you give us the middle finger. That's a problem for the government, people. I don't know if y'all know that. And I'm glad it is. The universe has an interesting way of fixing things. It really does. It's always in the most unsuspecting ways that you would never even. This COVID thing went crazy. People got wise. They started investing in cryptocurrency. And now there are people I know who were broke as hell, had no idea what they were going to do next. They got 1 or 2 checks and then invested in Bitcoin and learn how to do because you can do trading. There are people who trade every day. It's one of the reasons, obviously, Bitcoin fluctuates. There are people who invest. And they're doing very well for themselves. They didn't have to go to a school and pay somebody tens of thousands of dollars for something they were going to have to relearn when they went to work anyway. They didn't have to take a Series 7. They didn't have to work at a big bank. They didn't have to work at a hedge fund. They were smart. They got the material and they taught themselves, and they're successful because they're good at what they do, and they should be rewarded for it. You're taking potentially all of the power out of these people's hands. And y'all thought they weren't about to come after Bitcoin? Pfft. Of course they were. That was always going to happen. We're about to go, but I want to show you. I want y'all to hear this video because it's hilarious. It kind of reads a lot. It kind of sounds a lot like satire, but it's not, which is kind of scary, but. Let's check out this video from Fauci, bro. Let's check this out because y'all gonna laugh.
going to discredit public health officials to the point of, look at Russia. They actually have a good vaccine, and none of their citizens will take it because they don't trust their own government.
Right. It's very dangerous, Chuck, because a lot of what you're seeing as attacks on me, quite frankly, are attacks on science. Because all of the things that I have spoken about consistently from the very beginning have been fundamentally based on science. Sometimes those things were inconvenient truths for people, and there was pushback against me. So if you are trying to, get at me as a public health official and a scientist, you're really attacking not only Dr. Anthony Fauci, you're attacking science. And anybody that looks at what's going on clearly sees that. You have to be asleep not to see that. That is what's going on.
Bruh. You know what's crazy? So I was one of the idiots that took AP biology when I was in high school, which I would never do again. But I was one of those idiots that took AP biology. We had to read that thing every day. That's a big book, y'all. It's a big book with a lot of words. Big books with a lot of words about science. And I know why I got like a B+ in that class. I didn't get an A. I tried my hardest. I didn't get an A. I'm not really good at the science stuff. And I was playing like 2 sports at the time and doing debates, so I really didn't care all that much. But I didn't see anything in that book that said science definition, Anthony Fauci. I didn't see a damn thing saying that. I don't know if y'all got different books. I was in the South, so take that with a grain of salt. I know our books ain't the best. But I'm pretty sure that if you all go look back at your kids' science books, it doesn't say definition of science is Anthony Fauci. Also, to be honest, there is a chance that he is correct, that like he was basing a lot of his words on science. But that's only because he was talking out of both sides of his neck for the last year and a half. He said that it looked like the virus was man-made and it potentially got leaked from a lab when he was briefing a bunch of world leaders, and then said it came from a bat in a suit. Right? He said masks don't work. No, you shouldn't be wearing them. And then masks do work, and you should wear them all the time. He said you can be, what's the word? You could be asymptomatic and pass COVID. And then it was actually, no, you do need to be a little bit more than asymptomatic, because that's never been a thing. There's never been a case of any viral type of disease like that, like a COVID or influenza, where you can be asymptomatic and give anybody the symptoms. It's never been a thing. It's literally made up for this thing. I don't know if y'all know that. Yeah, that's new. And he said both. So I don't know what's fact or what's fiction, but it sounds like one thing could be true and the other one could not be true. And yeah, at some point you probably said something that was scientific, and right after you changed your mind about it and said something that was completely and total bullshit. So I guess technically he's right. At some point he said something that was scientifically true. Consistently, like he said, probably not. But bruh, I am science. You attacking me, you attacking science. Because science says science is always right, because we use science to determine that science was correct. And science, thy name is Anthony Fauci. Science. I can almost guarantee if you ask Anthony Fauci to define science now, he would have no idea what the definition was. I'm not even joking. Because if I'm not mistaken, I feel like science is more like, the definition of science is actually a methodology. Because you can have political science. Obviously, biology is one type of science. Physics is another. Because you'll say, I am science. Okay, Fauci, that's cool. Give me physics. What? Give me some examples of some physics equations. Well, look at you. Huh? What? Because science is methodology. And trust me, if people are attacking you, they may be attacking your methodological approach. Yeah, they probably are attacking that because it doesn't seem like there was any methods that were used. It looked like you went in the room, got a call from Biden, asked Biden what to say, and said it. That's what it looks like. If you're attacking Fauci, oh man, he got NIH in the background too. Oh Jesus, but bro, he like if they attacking me, if they attacking science, people attacking you, they attacking your emails. It's your words that they're using to attack you. They're not making no words up. If you're attacking me with my words, and I'm attacking science because I am science, we might have to go ahead and get Anthony Fauci checked for borderline personality disorder, because this is crazy. How dare you attack me with my own words? How dare you use me to attack me? Hey, self, stop attacking science. We're trying to not. We're trying. One of us. I do care about the attack on science. I do care about the fact that y'all pretended ivermectin didn't exist. I do care about the fact that y'all lied about hydroxychloroquine and used false science to try and do it, and got caught and had to retract. I care about science. That's why we don't like you, Anthony Fauci. Because even if people don't know what the hell's going on, they know you don't know what the hell's going on either. But you keep saying you shit like you do, and then people keep crafting policies like you do, and then lives keep getting destroyed by these policies unnecessarily because you keep pretending like you know what you're talking about. That's the difference. That's the problem here. This man is crazy. He crazy, bro. And, bro, y'all want to watch it again? Because just listen to what he say. He don't even say shit. He don't even say words. Those aren't even coherent sentences. Like,
what is your level of concern that we're going to discredit public health officials to the point of, look at Russia. They actually have a good vaccine, and none of their citizens will take it because they don't trust their own government.
Right. It's very dangerous, Chuck, because a lot of what you're seeing as attacks on me, quite frankly, are attacks on science. Because all of the things that I have spoken about consistently from the very beginning have been fundamentally based on science. Sometimes those things were inconvenient truths for people, and there was pushback against me. So if you are trying to, get at me as a public health official and a scientist, you're really attacking not only Dr. Anthony Fauci, you're attacking science. And anybody that looks at what's going on clearly sees that. You have to be asleep not to see that. That is what's going on. Science and the truth are being attacked.
so not only, by the way, does Anthony Fauci think he's science, he also thinks he is Paul Pierce. Mind you, just for clarification, this is an interview after his FOIA emails were released, where he told the world that world leaders that he actually thought that the virus leaked from a lab and was human created, and then turned around and said it came from bad soup. So I don't think he knows what the definition of truth is. Somebody gave Anthony Fauci the wrong dictionary as a prank, clearly. Whose man's is this? Somebody come get him. He fucking it up for y'all. Come get him. Y'all ain't never gonna get in. If y'all gonna try to, commit world domination and tank the economy and not have people question you, like, get somebody who isn't a goddamn idiot to help you do it. Don't get this motherfucker. Come on, bro. Yo, emails is on the internet. They're right here. You don't think people been gaslighted before? Come on, bro. This is a toxic generation. You don't think people recognize gas? People gonna watch the TV like, man, I thought he was actually gonna defend something. He didn't even say shit. He didn't convince me of anything different at all. You're not only attacking science, but you're attacking the truth. That's what's really going on here. But what is the truth? I don't know. What's the last thing I said? What did I say last week? Whatever I said last week is whatever the truth is. You said 2 things last week, Anthony. 2. We have no idea which one is true. Oh, man. All right, people. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for turning into this live stream segment of Mika Says Sukasa. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you share this video. We are live tonight on Rockfin Premium for our Rockfin Premium show with Jason Burmis. It's going to be a great show as it usually is. So if you want to join our Rockfin Premium show, you have to do is endorse the channel. You can click on the link, the Rockfin link in the description, or you can go there. I just shared it in the chat. Endorse the channel for $9.99, and you can get all of our premium content there. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning into this live stream segment of Mika Says Sukasa. And always remember, more than anything else, find your balance. Peace.